Hello, welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast in which we analyze, we scrutinize, and we celebrate the rise of Skywalker one sun-filled minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
And I'm Tony CONSIGLIO from Mesa Parks and Rec Department.
Welcome back, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me stop working for a little bit and be on the show.
Oh, well, believe me, the pleasure is all ours. We are recording live from lovely Mesa, Arizona for this special in-person. This is the first time we've recorded in person since COVID times?
Could be, yeah.
Crazy talk.
And I think the first time we recorded in person with Tony ever.
Ever. I don't think I've ever been on a live show. You guys never let me out of that room.
Well, let's see if you earned it today by doing a terrific episode. Of course, we're talking about minute number 11, minute number 11 of the rise of Skywalker. Minute number 11 starts off with Poe Dameron hyperspace skipping through a giant monster. And it ends a minute later with Rey force grabbing a giant helmet.
Yeah, he kind of blasts through the mouth of I forgot if we talked about last week if that was the name of the creature, because we're in the megafauna chasm of the Typhonic Nebula. So I don't know
if
it's
mouthful.
It's just one of the megafauna. I don't remember if it has a specific name. I can't remember did I look that up for last week? Well, anyway, but warping through a mouth.
Warping through a mouth. That monster does not count as a tentacle monster, correct?
No.
It's just like it's almost like well, yeah, we talked about it last week, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there anything else before we get to we only have a tiny second of the tail end of that light speed skipping scene.
I have to say I watched this minute on my television set, my large. It was like I think it's a 19-inch television set, but it was a lot of green. This is a very green minute. It's very green when it starts. I guess because he's flying out of the alien's mouth, and then it goes right to a green planet. So there's a lot of green.
Lush.
Mm-hmm. The lush, the verdant expanses of Aegon Kloss.
Aegon Kloss.
Aegon Kloss.
Asian Kloss? Asian? Oh, agent.
Aegon. A-J-A-N, I believe.
Aegon.
Aegon.
Is that the name of the planet?
That's technically a moon, but yes.
Okay, sorry.
Now, the quibbler here, it's a moon that also has two moons of its own.
Yeah, it's like a middle moon.
So is some other planet looking down at these, or looking up at these three planets?
Everybody looks down at this planet. They're like, Aegon Kloss. Bleh.
I knew someone who had three moons. They had
Were they over Miami?
They had surgery to fix that.
Oh man! Well, we wish them a lot of luck. So yeah, let's talk about life on Aegon Kloss. We see Rey floating, and with some rocks, which is of course her patented. We saw her doing that with great results at the end of Last Jedi. She's been levitating these rocks since then.
You think she brought them?
They just are always. She doesn't know how to turn it off. They're always orbiting her.
When that scene comes up, I automatically want to go into video game mode and I want to blast the
rocks.
The rocks.
Oh yeah.
Pew, pew.
That's very
Picks,
Jedi.
picks.
Of
I want to
you.
yell "picks" at the screen.
So, this was, I believe, a scene that they considered doing at the beginning, or when we met Luke on Ahch-To. The first time we see Luke, I think at one point the idea was that he was going to be floating and had rocks, so they kind of recycled that idea.
Right. Interestingly, because you say that that's the beginning, that this scene originally was the beginning of the movie. In the novelization, I think this comes first, and there's more. I think they just didn't have enough satisfactory footage with Leia, because there was more back and forth with Leia
right.
and Rey talking about, Rey's training and her kind of relationship with the Force and stuff like that. And I think that
they're just good friends.
And I think that was supposed to be kind of a expanded scene there, but they just didn't have enough, couldn't successfully do it with what they had of Carrie Fisher. So they truncated it a little bit and split it up and put it later, 10 minutes into the movie, instead of starting with it.
So would then it have gone from Rey? When would we have seen the Kylo Ren adventures on Exegol?
It after that, so it goes through this whole scene with Rey talking to Leia and kind of thinking, and then it cuts, I think, to. Interestingly, Hux and General Pryde are involved in the Mustafar scene a little bit too.
Weird.
In the book, at least in the novelization.
Colonel Pryde. I forgot about him. Is that Colonel Pryde?
General
Pryde. General Pryde.
There's a Chinese place that sells delicious chicken around here. It's called General Fry.
General Pryde?
General Fry, I thought you said.
Oh, no, General Pryde.
We're out in the open. I couldn't understand.
The wind is going against.
Yeah,
sorry about
wind,
that.
It goes in one ear and goes out the other. It's hard to.
So yeah, and as she is meditating and floating these rocks, she is murmuring to herself. Well, not to herself, I guess, but quietly, "Be with me. Be with me. Be with me."
Now, do you think BB-8 thinks she's talking to her? It's like, "Be with me." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here. What's up?"
That might explain why BB-8 starts following her on the B. Do you think they ever call a BB-8 B? That's just a short name.
I don't know. It's weird. Like we always,
Beeb.
He's always like BB-8.
Yeah,
because it just flows.
Double B8 would not work.
Double B8.
Double B8.
That's
is
more. That's more letter, more
right.
syllables. Then, do you think if obviously R2D2, people commonly refer to him as R2, I have a dog, as you can see on the video if you're watching us on the YouTube. And in addition to his name, Filbert, we have dozens of nicknames for him.
Right.
And I can't help but think that if you lived with a droid for a long time, you would come up with all sorts of dumb nicknames for it.
Right.
So.
Forgive me. I don't want to get in a spotlight there.
All right. Adjusting the equipment.
Yes.
We want people to see Filbert.
Tony's wearing many hats this episode.
Well, I still have to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, 3PO, Han calls him Goldenrod and a couple of other things, right?
Han gives everyone nicknames.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his. He just can't remember anyone's real name, so he always has to keep going up with, "Hey, Golden Rod."
Goldenrod.
Yeah. You Stubby.
You can call him Bait.
Bait.
B is
right. BB-8.
Oh,
BB-8. Bait.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or make it longer.
That's almost like if BB-8 was dating someone else, and you'd come up by matching together the two names.
I think I would have just called him something silly like Round Boy. Hey, Round Boy.
Oh yeah, Roundy.
Roundy.
What's your story, Roundy?
Hey, Roundy.
That's
Roundy.
Benicio called him.
That's right.
Yeah. Or what about?
Ray does this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to think about more nicknames for
more droid nicknames.
Ray, when she comes down from the asteroid field, she's very
asteroid field of her own making.
Yeah, her own asteroid field of her own making. She kind of does this Cirque du Soleil kind of flip in the air as she lands, and wouldn't that make a great Cirque du Soleil, a Star Wars Cirque du Soleil show?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it'll happen eventually. Eventually, everything will be there will be Star Wars will encompass everything. Everything will have a Star Wars variant.
Cirque du Soleil Star Wars.
Cirque du Étoile.
Cirque du Soleil Wars.
D'Étoile.
Cirque
d'Étoile.
Well, Soleil means sun,
right?
And so
Étoile means star.
Yeah. So let's do that. That would be cool.
I mean,
I just can't wait to see a bunch of Twi'leks doing gymnastics. Had mixed feelings about Rey's descent from her thing. It clearly was she was clearly on wires that they digitally took out, but I don't know if that's just because none of us has ever seen someone be levitating and then come out of it, so we don't know what it looks like. So anything would look.
Speak for yourself.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I feel like it would look awkward almost no matter how you got out of the.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of the pose.
How
well, she just
is she
fell.
with floating at this point? I mean, is she more like the greatest American hero, kind of fumbling as she's trying to land?
Do you think she has to, I almost think like if you did that, you become so focused that you would eventually like drift away. You come out of it, and you'd be like in the stratosphere of Diego.
You like surrounded by rocks, but also like floating over the strip mall down the block,
the ocean, or you're like stuck in like a tree branch, power lines.
You floated right into the power line.
Just have to steer yourself in a different direction.
Sneakers from down there while you're.
And you run into that guy with the lawn chair and the trash bags.
That's true. All the people, Balloon Boy, all the people, all the homemade
aerialists.
Getting back to Cirque du Soleil. And so then she lands on the ground, and she starts talking to, of course, General Leia
Solo
Terwilliger,
right?
Who's CGI.
Is she CGI'd? Or is she just...
Or I think it's like footage that was shot for
She's
Force Awakens that they kind of
manipulated.
Digitally manipulated.
I think there's it's always a combination of shot footage from Force Awakens plus I know her daughter, Billie Lourd, did some stand-in work, body modeling. What is that called? Body doubling.
Yeah, because occasionally
for the nude, only for the nude scenes.
Right.
Occasionally they would film her from behind, so that can obviously just
they
be
have
a
a stand-in
person stand-in.
It was dentist filling in. That's the
right.
Yes. So I have more thoughts on
Agent Kloss.
Carrie Fisher for later, but do you guys have anything?
Well, I did want to talk about Agent Kloss a tiny bit.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
The
moon of a moon.
A moon with two moons of its own.
Mm-hmm. It's moons all the way down.
Apparently, this was on the short list for the Rebellion as far as setting up their bases.
Back
with
in the day.
Yavin 4 and Dantooine and Agent Kloss was scouted by the Alderaanians to be like a place that they could hang out. And they ended up not using it. But then after the Battle of Yavin, or after, I guess, the second Death Star, the Battle of Endor, what do we call that?
Battle of Endor, I guess.
After we destroyed the Empire the first time, or second time, whatever it was. But then Leia remembered that. She's like, oh, I know a place, and decided that when she wanted to pursue her Jedi training with Luke, she was like, oh, I got this place. And they set up this Jedi training playground then, and she trained there. So when we see flashbacks of her training, it's on the same planet, in the same scenario, because she set it up to train with Luke for a little bit, and then she gave up on that and was like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. But then after The Last Jedi, when they were on the run, she was like, oh, I know, wait, let me look at my short list of potential rebel bases. Oh, right, Agent Kloss, perfect. Let's go there, and then I can train Rey, and we can also set stuff up.
Now, I know the answer to this, of course, but for the audience's sake, what was the name of the planet that we see Luke with his setting up his Jedi school in the Book of Boba Fett?
I don't remember. I don't think that's this.
That seems like it would be kind of and I'm sure they went through a couple of different bases trying to find the right fit.
Right.
Goldilocks and all.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was waiting for Ewoks to show up. It looks very Endor-ish.
You're waiting for Ewoks? Well, we do see an Ewok later.
Yeah.
So,
on this planet?
I don't know if it's on this planet or not. I would assume not.
I noticed that this the foliage had a combination of pine trees and palm trees mixed together.
The pine and the palm.
They have a lot of that here in Mesa. Pine trees and palm trees. So, frankly, it could have been filmed.
Yeah, I think we have that in L.A. too. So
could have been filmed. Yeah, L.A. Could have been filmed in L.A.
Good eye. Good tree eye.
Tree eye.
You gonna do our
straight
foliage report?
Horticulture report.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that peat moss looks so fake.
Talking about the baseball player? I was thinking about also, Tony, you didn't get to have any Palpatine minutes and stuff. But anyway, I was thinking that, the whole somehow, if in the Force Awakens, people took umbrage with the fact that when Luke Skywalker's lightsaber showed up, Maz Amida was just like, that's a story for another time, and moving on.
I didn't take umbrage with that. I like that.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so that was a case where I agreed with you that I'm glad they didn't feel the need to go into, but I guess it's the whole everyone has their own barometer for what they feel needs to be explained. But so anyway, I was just that was an example. So
are we going to ask Tony what?
Yeah.
Do you feel cheated that we don't find out much about why the Emperor is back, other than
any thoughts about Palpatine's return in general? Glad they brought him back, not brought him back.
I think it was just. I think it was unnecessary. They could have easily just come up with a different nemesis. No.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess any nemesis they introduced at that point, I would have the same beef with. It's like, this is the third act of the structure.
Yeah.
This is something like you don't introduce the bad guy
That's
at
true.
the very
You
end.
don't
But
introduce the bad guy at the last minute. But yeah, I mean, Palpatine being the coming back, I thought was, I guess it's fun and novelty because you get to see.
It's
Palpatine
always fun
again,
to see the Emperor.
Yeah. So in the end, I guess that's the most important part is, the enjoyment of seeing an old character.
An old character. He's so old.
That you haven't seen for a long time.
So anyway, back to minute number 11. So we see Leia offers. I forget what the sequence of events is. Does Leia offer Rey the lightsaber? And I know Rey definitely gives Leia the lightsaber back and says, "I'll earn this."
Yeah. I had notes on that was it for today? Or is it for...
I wrote it in this one the last time we saw Lee. This is the first time we see Annie's laser sword.
Okay.
Since.
I had it in for 13, but we could talk about it now. Yeah, so again, I'm getting information from the novelization here.
Okay, good.
That she is using it for training. She repaired it.
Oh, she repaired it
because she's got the Jedi texts. She's got all the books that from the the magic tree
from the
in,
sacred
in Act
texts.
2, the sacred text.
So I like that the sacred texts, in addition to concerning spiritual matters, are also like a Votech thing where it's like, here's how to repair a lightsaber.
The Haynes Guide, what was it for the
troubleshooting?
But yeah, so and remember, Rey is also very handy and can fix anything to begin with. So with the information in there, she was able to repair Luke's lightsaber and is working on her own lightsaber even at this point.
Yeah.
And interestingly, there's as an aside, she's like, yeah, I kind of like it, but I'm still more comfortable with my staff, my long staff that I've been carrying. She's like, and so maybe when I make mine, I'll make it more like a staff, or maybe a blade on each side, and maybe a hinge in the middle so it can fold for easy carrying. And
wow, she's really...
we see that with Dark Rey later.
Yes.
But we don't... Or wait, or was Dark Rey in this one, or was Dark Rey in the...
Dark Rey's in this one.
Okay. But we don't really get that from her lightsaber when she finally constructs it. So
yes, interesting.
Maybe it's there, but we just haven't seen it. But yeah, she talks about her lightsaber a little bit, and we do find out that she rebuilt it from the scraps from the
when it was destroyed in episode TLJ.
Yeah,
episode TLJ.
Is lightsaber technology something that is updated? It's like an iPhone kind of situation where, like, well, I don't want Luke's. I can build a better one.
I don't want this junky lightsaber 4. I want the newest one, the
crank
X.
It up to get it started.
Yeah, I mean it's even older because it's Anakin is first, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
God knows where he got it
from. From like 60 years ago or something like that. Right?
It's probably more valuable as a collector's item than it is, as a.
Well, it was before it broke and then had to be reassembled, and now it's not.
It's more of it's called a recreation now, not
right.
technically. So originally, I listed this as a beef I had.
Okay.
That the symbolic impact of that lightsaber, obviously at the end of TLJ, at the end of Force Awakens, it's like, here's the big lightsaber, and then Luke throwing it as a statement, and then in this, it's literally torn asunder by Rey and Kylo Ren fighting over it. And then it's just like, oh yeah, and here it is with no explanation as to here it is back. So originally I was gonna be like, what they did? That's another thing that this movie like says. Oh no, that didn't really happen. Everything's cool. Contradicting TLJ at many opportunities.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now I'm having second thoughts because it's basically the same thing that happens at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. At the end of he loses his lightsaber at the end of Empire,
Mhm.
and then in Return of the Jedi, in the theatrically released cut that we all saw, there was no explanation for how. I guess later on, Vader says, "Oh, you've built a new lightsaber,"
Right.
which is So yeah, so there you go. There's an example of I can't complain about it now because the same thing. The precedent was set already. So and now it's ring theory because it echoes a different thing. So now it's actually a positive. So good.
I think I would have done it slightly differently. Actually, I know I'm defending the movie usually, but I am going to say I think this would have been better if it was Leia's lightsaber that she was training with the whole time.
Yeah,
and it was yellow to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was inflatable.
And came out of her arm.
Yeah. If it was yellow and it was Leia's the whole time and she was basically trying to earn Leia's lightsaber, I know we already know that she has a respect for Luke and Luke is her Jedi master, but now her training under Leia, she should be borrowing it and giving it back to Leia, and then later on, spoiler alert, Leia passes away, and then she should feel like, okay, now I can take on this mantle of Leia's lightsaber, because there's no real need for that saber to be
other than
up until the end when we get
the
lightsaber out of when Kylo Ren has the lightsaber, she hands it to him.
Yeah.
So,
other than this is the iconic lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that I agree. I agree in that it was such a moment when it shattered and the whole thing was destroyed that we shouldn't have brought it back. So weirdly, I'm normally defending this movie, but here I'm going to take the other side and say this probably should have been Leia's lightsaber and a different color, because having even down to the end, no, spoiler alert, another complaint I'll have is that lightsaber scene at the end, having two lightsabers of the same color, it's annoying. Kind of like with I complained about that with Revenge of the Sith or whatever, when you have Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting.
Right. Both igniting the blue.
Yeah. Enough with the blue is what I'm saying.
So now I have a new strategy. I will try to say something positive about the movie, then that would give you the room to be like, well, you know what? I actually didn't like that
there you
part.
Go.
So all right, good.
All right.
So
we'll balance out.
So why do you think they did bring back Luke's
nostalgia?
Because it's Luke.
Purely because it's like if it was Leia's, I don't know. It's a good idea.
Maybe somebody at Hasbro called and was like, "Oh, we still got 4 gross of these Luke Skywalker lightsabers. Can we do something about that?"
I mean, or I guess they just wanted to save the Leia's lightsaber reveal for the end.
Yeah, but they still could have. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But use Leia's. They could have. That's another opportunity. Like if they would have, featured Leia's more, they could have added another lightsaber that they sell. Make Leia's lightsaber more featured, make it yellow.
Yeah.
Then they could have had another one that they could sell and more. They're always trying to have more cool things that not that only girls would be into it, but absolutely more girls would be into buying a Leia lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Add another wrinkle, a cool thing that
Yeah.
In the movies, at any point, we don't really see Leia fight anyone with a lightsaber, do we?
No, we see her training a little bit in this, but then she kind of gives it up because it's not as much.
She's like, I'm
her
not
thing.
As good as
She's more of a general.
As my brother.
She's competitive. Once she realized she wouldn't be as good as Luke, she's like, forget it. I'm not doing it.
Right. Stupid game anyway.
Yeah.
Stupid game. This is for boys.
I think I've gone on record as I don't like. I mean, I feel like all Jedi should have basic lightsaber skills, but the fact that every Jedi has to be it seems like some of them shouldn't have to be fighters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some of them should be the wise people who are more deep thinkers as opposed to
Yeah, that was originally
Yeah.
Yoda and the Emperor didn't have lightsabers.
Right. Exactly.
George Lucas said no, they don't have lightsabers. They're not Jedi Knights. They're Jedi Masters.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then over the years, everybody has to have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And everybody has to fight and I don't know.
Ruin everything.
Yeah.
They put the wars in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anything else for minute number 11? That's all I have in my notes here.
We'll get into the training thing a little bit tomorrow.
I don't have anything
hopefully.
else, really.
All right. Well, while Tony gets back to work at the pool, I will say what
there's a leaf over there.
Yeah. What is the?
Okay.
Do you remember the thing we set up for Tony? StarWarsMinute.com/
Toko.
Toko.
StarWarsMinute.com.
TOCO.
Taco. Okay.
Tony, that takes you to Tony's TeePublic page.
Right.
So yes, you can get some of Tony's lovely designs there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cool stuff there.
And Yeah. His stuff is there. Our Star Wars Minute. There we go. Thank you. StarWarsMinute.com/merch gets to our stuff.
Yeah. So get all that Christmas money you got sitting around. Why not spend it on some lovely apparel or home goods? And then join us here tomorrow for another sun-drenched Star Wars Minute.
Minute.
When do you want me to bring the sandwiches out?